So today is my December 2014 favorites part 2, and December has been full of so many things. Like, I guess because, you know, you're stuck in the house a lot and you're celebrating Christmas and all that, or Kwanzaa or Hanukkah or whatever you celebrate, you're just kind of like in a mood to watch movies, play games, read books, whatever. So I've got several things to mention today, and as always, for everything I mentioned, there will be a trailer link in the description box down below so you can go check it out and see if it's something you like. So let's just get started. The first thing is my favorite CD of the past few weeks, and that is Sucker by Charli XCX. Now, Charli XCX is a breakout artist, I would say. She was on Icona Pop's I Don't Care and Iggy Azalea's Fancy, but she has her own debut album, and the best songs on here are Break the Rules, Boom Clap, and what is it called? I'm just like, bleh. I think Famous. Famous is the one I like. But yeah, those are the best, but the album is fantastic in its entirety. It's kind of like a throwback to old 80s pop, and it's just very pick-me-up. There's no slow songs. They're all just dancey, happy, energetic songs, and Charli is just adorable, and check it out if you like that kind of music. Now, moving on to movies now. I've seen quite a few over the past few weeks, so let's get started. The most recent one I've seen, which I absolutely adore, I'm obsessed with it now, is The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey. Now, most of you are going to be like, why didn't you watch that when it came out? I did, but I watched like an hour of it and couldn't get into it, so I put it down and never watched it again. But then I decided recently to try it again because I'm more into fantasy stuff now. So I watched it and I fell in love with it. I love the story. I even bought the book recently. I haven't read it yet. But the movie is fantastic. It's gorgeous. Peter Jackson, of course, makes gorgeous films, so of course it's gorgeous. And the actors are all superb. I adore Martin Freeman, so I loved seeing him as Bilbo. I love seeing Gollum and Thorin Oakenshield and Gandalf and all those iconic characters, so I adore The Hobbit. If you haven't seen it, I highly suggest watching it because it's so good, but only watch it if you're like into fantasy, sci-fi kind of stuff. The next movie is Whisper of the Heart, a Studio Ghibli film from, I believe, the 80s, and it's superb. I'm surprised I haven't seen it yet. I hadn't seen it yet before I watched it, but it's about this girl, and she's just, you know, she's trying to get into this amazing school, and she's worrying about that, and she meets this guy who, you know, he's a smartass, but, you know, she's kind of drawn to him, and she's a huge reader, and every book she checks out at the library was either checked out previously by this anonymous guy or was donated by this anonymous guy, so she's trying to find out who it is, blah blah blah. You probably know where the story's headed, but it's a magical tale. It's beautiful and heartwarming. If you're a Studio Ghibli fan, you owe it to yourself to watch this film. If you haven't seen any Studio Ghibli films, this is a great way to start the series of films. And I'm sorry, I got hit on the head today, so I'm a little loopy, but Whisper of the Heart was fantastic. Another Studio Ghibli film I watched was The Wind Rises. Now, this is Hayao Miyazaki's last film that he is directing because he retired, but it's a story of a boy named Jiro, and he wants to be a pilot, but he's nearsighted, so it kind of makes it impossible. So he starts to build planes, and he falls in love with this woman, and she has tuberculosis, and it's very, very sad. I will say that. It is a masterpiece. It was nominated for an Oscar before it was even released, so that tells you how amazing this film is. And it's just beautiful, and definitely, if you're a Studio Ghibli fan, you have to watch this. This is Miyazaki's goodbye to the industry. And yeah, his son Goro is going to start directing films for Studio Ghibli, but in my opinion, Goro's films aren't as great as Hayao's. He's just an icon, and this film, just watch it. You owe it to yourself to watch The Wind Rises. The next film is If I Stay. Now, it's not as good as the novel, but If I Stay is about a girl named Mia. She is a cellist who's trying to get into Juilliard, and her and her family are, you know, going to, I believe, their grandparents' house because it's a snow day. They get in a car wreck, and stuff happens, and she's between life and death, and she has to decide if she wants to live or if she wants to die. And this film is full of flashbacks, and they're mostly well done, Chloe Grace Moretz kind of gets on my nerves a little bit in the movie sometimes, but she mostly does a good job as Mia. The guy that plays Adam is phenomenal, and even though I like the book better, this If I Stay is still a very serviceable film. I told you I got hit on the head, so I'm a little boo today. Yeah. And the last film, which is probably my favorite, is Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, I didn't get to see this in theaters, but I watched it at home and fell in love with it. I adore Groot and Rocket Raccoon. They're my two favorite characters, but I also love Star-Lord. And, you know, I love Yondu. It was so nice to see Michael Rooker in a film and him being himself. And, awesome. And I loved all the little cameos by different actors like Benicio del Toro and Lee Pace and all these other amazing actors. And it's just the story of Star-Lord, who has a very tragic story, a prelude story, and then he's trying to find this MacGuffin type of orb, and it's just the story of him and a group of misfits kind of, you know, trying to get this orb and save the galaxy, you know. It's a great story. I won't say too much because I don't want to ruin it if you haven't seen it. It is based off the Marvel comic books of the same name. It's fantastic. It's beautiful. The graphics and CGI work are amazing. All the actors did a phenomenal job. Chris Pratt is definitely a breakout star. And of course, Bradley Cooper is great as Rocket. Zoe Saldana as Gamora is probably my least favorite character, to be honest. David Bautista as Drax did a phenomenal job. And of course, Vin Diesel as Groot. Even though he only says, "I am Groot," stole my heart. So I loved Guardians of the Galaxy, and I highly recommend it because it was my favorite film of these past few weeks. Probably this past few months, actually. Now let's move on to TV. I've only seen one show that is not part of my mainstay. That is In the Flesh. And In the Flesh, it's a zombie show, but before you go and say, "Oh no, no, zombie town," this is a refreshing change from the norm. In the Flesh has heart to it, no pun intended. But it's about the story of Kieran, who has returned from the dead, and he is a partially deceased syndrome sufferer, which means he's a zombie, but they don't call him that. And he has to put on makeup and wear contacts and try to assimilate back into the human life, and his family has to deal with him coming back, and, you know, they're dealing with the PDS people, and the HVF, the Human Victory Federation, is kind of like, we don't want these rotters here. That's what they call them, rotters. And it's just very heartwarming and heartbreaking, and it's not like a zombie show you would think a zombie show should be like. It's got emotion to it, it's got feelings, and I was really, really surprised by this in a great way. This is a phenomenal show. It's made by BBC, and I've come to the conclusion that BBC is one of the best TV stations out there because I love so many of their shows. But In the Flesh definitely deserves your attention because it's so underrated, and it just deserves so much love, and we need more In the Flesh, okay? This show is phenomenal, so watch it. Now moving on to the games I enjoyed this month. There's two, and they're both Nintendo games, but the first is Professor Layton vs. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney for the 3DS. Now, in this game, you play as both Phoenix Wright and Professor Layton, and you're trying to unravel the mystery of the city called Labyrinthia, which is basically non-existent except if you open this book and it transports you to the city. And I will say most of the game is Professor Layton, but it's still a really, really well done game. I mean, how they mesh the two worlds together is amazing. It's a lot of fun. You do have to solve a ton of puzzles, so if you're not a big puzzle person, I would say maybe avoid this game. But if you're a Phoenix Wright fan, I would pick it up anyway, just because you do get to play as Phoenix Wright, and they incorporate the coin system from Professor Layton into the Phoenix Wright sections. It's amazing. I could go on and on. It's a beautiful game. I love the cutscenes. The voice acting's pretty well. There's a few iffy actors, but overall it's really well done. And it's just so much fun to play. Oh my gosh, it's so fun, and I was so surprised at how well these two universes mesh together. And like usual, these are like visual novel type of games, so 80% of the game is reading, 20% is puzzle solving or courtroom cases. But again, if you're a Professor Layton or Phoenix Wright fan, definitely check out this game. It's so worth your time. And the second game is, oh my gosh, amazing. Bayonetta 2 for Wii U. Now, if you buy this, you get a great deal because you get the first Bayonetta with this, and the first Bayonetta was one of my favorite games of last generation. The Bayonetta is kind of like a hack and slash game in the vein of Devil May Cry, but it's so different. It's so bonkers, so over the top. The story is nonsense, but it's amazing. This game is so beautiful in the Wii U. Oh my gosh, it's just like eye-wateringly beautiful. It's crazy. And I adore Bayonetta. She's still badass. She looks gorgeous in her new outfit and her new hairstyle. I love the characters, the new and the old characters. Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. And the combat has been improved in my opinion. This game is a lot better in the combat aspect, and it's really actually pretty fun to play on the gamepad. At first I was like, oh no, it's a Wii U exclusive? Nintendo's going to ruin it, because you know Nintendo has the family-friendly reputation, but they've kept everything that was good about Bayonetta and stuck it into the second game. And I actually think this one might be a little more coarse with its language and violence and stuff, and you know, almost nudity. Like, it shows way more, I think, than the 360 and PS3 versions did. So I'm very, very surprised that Nintendo actually published this, but it's a very, very good surprise. And if you haven't played this and you have a Wii U, buy this. You will not be disappointed. I swear. It's one of the best action games ever. Ever. It's amazing. Now, my favorite music of the past few weeks, of course, is in the playlist down below. There's 10 songs. Check them out. Let me know what you think about them. I love them, but you might not, and that's perfectly fine. And if you have any song suggestions for me, I would love to hear them. And moving on to the YouTubers, the final part of this favorites video. First off is FemTrooper. Now, I've mentioned her in the past, but I've started watching her videos more frequently now. But Paige is just awesome. She's adorable. She makes great videos. Like, she'll do reviews and pickups and different kind of topic videos like gaming pet peeves and stuff like that. And she's just such a sweetheart, and she's very knowledgeable about games and gaming. She likes everything from retro to current gen games, so it's amazing. She's got amazing tastes. She's really into RPGs, which of course I am too, so that's one reason I'm drawn to her channel. But of course she has a great personality and a great channel in general. She's very knowledgeable, so check her out. And the next one is BC Retro Gamer. His family is adorable, and he has this awesome garage turn game room, and he's got so much collectible stuff in there, and it's like, ah! But yeah, it's amazing, and his kids are so adorable. Your kids are adorable. I know you watch my videos, so your kids are adorable, and I love the pickups you pick up. I couldn't think of a better word. You grab some amazing deals sometimes and some great finds, and I'm so jealous. I'm usually like, oh my gosh, I want that. And just every time your kids are on screen, man, that melts my heart. Every time I see a child on screen in a YouTube video, I'm just like, huh, like, doesn't even matter what the video is about. If there's a child in it, like. But your kids are adorable, and you have a great channel. So check him out, people. I think he's almost to 200 subs. He might already be over that, but support him. And the last channel I'm going to give recommendations to this month is Loch-Ness Monster, and besides the cool name, he has a really great channel. Of course, he does a lot of pickups. He does retro and current pickups, so you're covered on all bases there. He is obsessed with Assassin's Creed, I've noticed, because he usually wears an Assassin's Creed hat. He's got Assassin's Creed 7 in the background, so he's a very big Assassin's Creed fan, and a Batman fan, I'm pretty sure, because I've noticed your collection. But yeah, he's got another amazing collection behind him in his videos, and he's got great personality, awesome pickups, and of course that name. I mean, come on, Loch-Ness Monster? That is awesome. So go check him out. And that is it for this month's favorites videos. Let me know what your favorites were during the month of December in the comment box down below. And remember, I love each and every one of you so, so much. Please like the video if you liked it. Leave a comment, like I said a bajillion times before. Favorites so your friends and family can see. Share me as long as you do it nicely. And don't forget to subscribe and join the Alycat family, because I'm weird and that makes the videos entertaining, I think. If they don't, you can just laugh at me. But please subscribe. It'd make me super duper 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 happy. Yay! So I'm gonna go and film another video actually. I don't know why I laughed there. Peace and kisses. Bye!